We don't know what we don't know. This creates an interesting dynamic. We can accept the way things are as a given, and by doing so doom ourselves to mediocrity. Or we can experiment, hopefully innovate, and grasp new opportunities. Unfortunately, innovation requires taking chances. For many organizations, taking that first leap into business analytics is already seen as being risky enough. Every day we push the boundaries of what's possible. Facebook has over 1 billion customers. 1 billion. Every day, the limits of what we don't know decrease. Every problem we solve frees us to focus on the next harder problem. In aggregate, we're making faster progress than we've ever made since the first caveman decided to try and predict where his next hunt should take place. The paradox is, of course, that these advancements aren't shared. For most of us, our individual awareness of how to drive innovation through business analytics has lagged tremendously compared to the industry leaders. This shouldn't be surprising. That same knowledge is justifiably seen as a competitive advantage to the organizations that generate it. So despite the general benefit that would come from sharing information, important insights and understandings remain hidden. The basics aren't hard. Successfully leveraging business analytics for competitive advantage requires understanding how to generate insight, how to manage information, and how to action that insight. The real secret is that business analytics isn't about insight. It's about change, and that makes all the difference. Business analytics is about doing things differently. It's about using information to test new approaches and drive better results. The challenging thing is that this does actually mean things need to change. Insight is great, but when we use the same management approaches we always have, we usually end up with the same result. Ignoring the need to develop new competencies in our people generally leads to unchanged outcomes. Trying to shoehorn traditional data warehousing models into a business analytics context limits the insight that's possible, not because the fundamentals of warehousing are wrong, but because the discipline and objectives are different. They are related but different, and running the same process will inevitably lead to the same outcome. As a professional discipline, this holds us back. There remains a lack of clarity around how to solve what are, more often than not, common problems. We repeatedly reinvent the wheel, wasting valuable time, resources, and money, and there's no good reason for it. Although it's true that organizations that cannot overcome the simplest hurdles are held at a disadvantage compared to their peers, we do ourselves a disservice by not developing a broader industry maturity. We learn from knowing what's possible. We innovate by trying to overcome the impossible. Without knowing what other people are doing, we usually fail to do either. This book attempts to fill that gap by sharing what others have already learned. To the first-time reader, some of it may seem obvious, some of it novel. Critically, though, what's seen as obvious varies from person to person. To someone who's an experienced retailer but has never managed a business analytics project, even the simplest things can be surprising. On the other hand, to someone who's completely wedded to retaining control over all aspects of information management, the way others are using cloud computing and leveraging external resources may be surprising. Drawing from extensive experience and numerous real-world applications, this book distills a wide variety of successful behaviors into a small number of highly practical approaches and general guidelines. I hope that everyone, regardless of how experienced they are, will discover some novel and useful ideas within the covers of this book. By knowing what's possible, we increase the odds of success.